Hey, quick confession before we begin. There's a moment when you play a song and you instantly know whether the speaker respects the music or just fills the room. That moment is exactly why the Sonos 5 exists. This is for the kind of person who cares how sound feels, not just how loud it gets. You notice when bass is bloated instead of tight. You notice when vocals sit wrong. You notice when a speaker is trying too hard instead of letting the track breathe. You've reached the point where you want your music to sound intentional. Before you go further, take a second and check the current price and availability. This is one of those speakers that doesn't always stay quietly in stock, and waiting often turns into wishing you hadn't. You didn't decide to upgrade randomly. It happened after enough listening sessions where something felt off. Bluetooth speakers that lost detail. Smart speakers that sounded convenient but uninspiring. A room that deserved better sound than it was getting. At some point, you realized you weren't enjoying your music the way you used to. The first few days with this feel grounding. You press play, and the sound just fills the space naturally. Bass feels deep but controlled. Vocals feel centered and human. Instruments have weight and separation. You stop fiddling with the volume because the balance just works. Music becomes something you sit with again. You notice layers in tracks you've heard 100 times. Late-night listening feels immersive without being overwhelming. During the day, it has enough presence to fill a room without sounding strained. Even podcasts and live recordings feel more intimate, like the speaker understands pacing and tone. Once you get used to this level of clarity and fullness, everything else starts to feel thin. Every time you consider a smaller or cheaper option, you remember what it felt like when sound finally had body again, and you come right back here. If you're even slightly interested, check stock again now. Speakers like this tend to jump in price or vanish once people catch on. You might wonder if it's too much for a single speaker. That thought fades fast. This isn't about excess, it's about completeness. The surprise is how confident it sounds at any volume, never pushing, never collapsing. Owning this feels different. There's pride in knowing your music isn't being compromised. It feels like you chose sound quality over convenience and somehow still got both. Sound fills the room effortlessly, bass feels rich, not exaggerated, vocals feel real, and close listening feels intentional again. Your space feels elevated, it's not the smallest speaker. And once you live with it, ordinary speakers lose their charm. At some point, you stop comparing and choose the one you already knew you wanted. Don't let this turn into one of those upgrades you delay and regret later. If you're ready to enjoy your music every single day, the Sonos 5 makes that decision easy.